Hey, Peter.
Hey.
You know what to play over a 3-chord?
No, and I'm looking at this app. I got to tell you, I'm nervous AF. I'm here to learn. I don't understand what we're doing today.
You got to be friggin' kidding me.
Come on, man.
I'm Adam Manis.
And I'm Peter Martin.
And you're listening to the You'll Hear podcast.
Daily music advice coming at you.
Coming at you. Hey, Ian.
Oh.
Yeah, we're going modes, buddy.
Man, now that I said that I don't know what's going on, you're just rubbing it in at this point.
No,
I stand at the altar of your knowledge,
we're gonna be music theory geeking out a little bit today. So we're gonna be talking about some minor chords and the modes that we can use over different minor chords. Because I have some people emailing me saying like, it's just all Dorian, right?
That was me emailing you. You didn't see who it came from?
The answer is sometimes it's all Dorian,
okay,
but sometimes a good Phrygian, a nice Aeolian. It's like
what is Phrygian?
Phrygian is a mode of the major scales, and we're going to get into it. So let's start with the Phrygian, hey?
Okay.
Is
this related to the Phrygian?
Phrygian. What are you, Greek?
It's all Greek to me. Big shout out to YouTube. We're back on the YouTubes today. Did you know that?
I did. I wore my hat.
Yeah, that's how I knew. And the cameras were on. We're having some fun on the YouTube. We've got the. I'm just playing chromatic because I don't understand these, but I'm looking forward to some understanding.
My favorite part.
Have you ever seen me this lost?
No. Whenever you talk about music theory,
Once
you always say I don't
lost.
understand it, and then you play something that's exactly what we're talking about. You're just like, yeah, I don't get that, and you always play it. So we're talking about in the major scale, there are 7 modes, of course, and 3 of those are minor 7 chords. If you're creating 7 chords, right? If we're in the C, it's D minor 7, E minor 7. And A minor 7.
Okay.
Now,
but how are those different?
Well, because they're all related to C, and so they contain different notes.
So you're saying that I see the chord first,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, you are saying? Okay,
that's
good.
exactly what I'm saying.
I got it.
So we'll start with the first one, which is D, which is the Dorian. Now, this is the granddaddy. This is what, as jazz musicians,
you know what that chord is? The beginning of a great record.
Inner City Blues, right?
Exactly. That's how you can remember that one.
Totally, Marvin Gaye. But it's also, it's So What? It's impressions,
right?
It's the Dorian,
the sound,
it's
the voicing,
sound. Right. So that one we're not gonna skip over it, but we know what that is, right? The Dorian is it's all the white keys. If we start on D, it's these kinds of shapes. Exactly. We know that. But its cousin just to the north, the Phrygian, or Phrygian as I call it.
Yeah.
What do you know about that?
Isn't that it? Yeah.
Ooh, you can make anything sound kind of bluesy. So the Phrygian can be used as a mode, so you see this sometimes written as C Phrygian or something like that, or E Phrygian, and it usually means that sound, right?
A little mystery.
But it can also be used in a very diatonic way if we're playing changes, like a 3-6-2-5.
Yeah. And you typically kind of move through it quickly then.
For sure. Right? So that's my 3-chord, E minor 7. You can almost treat it like a C major 7.
Yeah.
To that A7.
And sometimes even almost like a C2-ish kind of more.
You could totally. I think about that all the time.
Over
like a C
E.
over E.
Yeah.
That sounds great. So you can do, and you hear this all the time with jazz musicians, Dorian on the 3-chord, right? If we're doing a 3-6-2-5.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. It sounds cool, actually.
Nothing wrong with it, but it is incorrect.
No, there's nothing correct or incorrect. But it's just one option.
Yeah.
If you're only thinking Dorian, you might be missing out on these other sounds.
I would just say one thing to note on that is things that you can play with. If you do, say, play Dorian on the 3, typically like what you did there, you'll go flat 13 on the 6. But if you go, you might do something more kind of diminished where you've got the A13 because you're going to F.
Right.
To F sharp.
Or even G to that F sharp, right?
Yep.
You have the G on the E.
Yeah. And those are all options that are fun to have.
Totally. So don't sleep on that Phrygian sound on a 3 chord.
Yeah.
Another thing, even if you're not going to the A.
Also, don't sleep on the Phrygian column in Athens. I passed out one night and did that and got robbed. So don't do that.
If you don't want to go to, if you want to kind of sub out that 6 and not play an A7 going to the 2, a really great sound is that flat 3 diminished from the Phrygian, right?
Yep.
So we're going to a 2 chord. We have our 3 chord. If we use the Phrygian. And why that sounds good is the same reason why if we're on C, going to that C diminished sounds good. It's those same notes, really, just the different
inner voice leading.
Yeah, exactly. Just different voice leading on the bass note. It sounds awesome. Yep. So don't sleep on the Phrygian. Include it in your 3 chord practice.
I'm starting to get this.
You got it, man.
This is, you know what? That's why I ABL. #ABL always, because just because you can hear and play something doesn't mean that you don't have a little bit of a gap in your theoretical knowledge.
All right, now I'm going to go to you. I'm going to throw this to you because we're on our 3 chord.
Yeah.
We know the Phrygian. It's diatonic. It's the basic option.
Yeah.
What are our first alterations to this? We know the Dorian is our first really logical one, right? Like for the reasons you mentioned, but there are some others too. We can alter. So instead of E minor 7, maybe we do E7 sharp 9. In a 3-6-2-5.
So there we go. And we've talked about before different ways of hearing and thinking about that. And I always like to come back to the half step, whole step up until you get to the 3rd.
Yeah.
And then whole tone.
Yeah.
And I know it's the same thing as the altered.
It's the altered scale, yeah.
But functionally, especially in this instance, as the 3 chord, we're still 3 chord, right?
Yeah, 3 chord.
Yeah. So to me. And where it leads, it just makes a little bit more sense to me from a scale standpoint, because once you open it up into the second half, the upper part of that, which is really 2/3 of the scale, you get those triads that are part of an altered, a whole tone triad that are great things to build melodic, improv melodies off of.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right, so the Dorian we've covered, the 3 chord, the Phrygian we've covered, and it's some common alterations and substitutions. Now we get to the 6 chord. This is our relative minor.
Look how different that sounds already.
Right?
It's like a relative that's a different look and everything, Maybe an adopted relative, we might even call it.
This is another one that we love, jazz musicians love to go ahead and just play Dorian.
Yep.
And I think because we do use that D7 right sound a lot, that it can kind of work. But also don't sleep on the Aeolian with that F natural in there, right? Especially think about playing a ballad. Let's see if my stain pedal works. It's not.
Uh-oh. Maybe mine's covering yours. I'm holding it now.
Oh yeah, it does.
Let's
All right, ready? Let's see if we can do it. 3. Nice. One more time around.
Ooh, messed up.
Now check this out.
Oh, hold on. We're coming back for some analysis of that.
One more time. We'll do a little 3, little Phrygian, Aeolian. Right? Now this is all diatonic, so it's not super, super hip. But thinking of it not as Dorian, but as having that F natural in play can really, really make this a melodic sound for you.
You even going to a Aeolian voice tone to your voice that matches nice.
165.
Welcome to the Aeolian column corner.
But you know what I'm saying? This F over A sound.
Yeah.
That's an Aeolian sound.
Yeah, and I like the way you're shifting with that because you're taking, the inner pinnings of a triad, obviously F triad, not just the fact that the F is in there. Because we always, as jazz musicians, I think about that as the big difference from our more used scale, possibly minor in terms of the Dorian.
Sure.
But the listener doesn't know that always. So it's more, that's a half step to the 5th, which is such an important part of the minor. Whereas that's more going the 6th. The natural 6 is more wanting to go up to the dominant 7th anyway, which is common in both of the scales.
It's a relative minor for the tonic, right? So if you're playing a Lydian
relatively speaking,
then a Dorian makes sense, and could make sense even just as a regular substitution. But if we're really, that F natural can make a big difference in how grounded you sound with this.
Yeah. The other thing that comes to mind with this, same scale, obviously same notes, and we're on A. Aeolian is the kind, and functionally you have to tell me where you think this lies, but the kind that that you hear more of like a D minor 9, D minor 11 over.
For sure.
You know, and so like it's very close to the, you know, like an F major 7.
For sure.
It actually is the notes, but but oftentimes you shift from there to there in a similar way that we were just doing, but it's very much D minor, the 4th above.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love these episodes, man. I'm such a nerd. I think it's so cool to talk about just
drop down and nerd out on some minor chords.
I really could for a while. Anyway, don't just go Dorian, straight Dorian for every minor 7 chord.
No.
It depends on the context, and you could also use these like if you're playing things like impressions, like you can do Dorian for sure, but you could also do Phrygian, you know, and you could also do Aeolian. You know?
And I think that those are good times when you're going outside, but not in the way we normally think of like chromaticism outside. So this is a way to like do slight things that you can shift, and it's almost like you're setting up some changes around movement that can inform, and it doesn't have to be in as obvious a way as even as we're showing, like if you're a D minor.
Right.
And that's what I was talking about, like the 4th above. So now we're in D minor, so I'm thinking kind of G minor 11.
Right. I'm totally with you on that. Think about like,
and then for the Dorian, actually, you know what I start to think about is that C minor over D. I mean, not the Dorian, the Phrygian.
The Phrygian, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the C triad.
Think about like a tune like Solar. You know,
that's a very different,
that Aeolian sound over that. It's a very different thing, and it's like it's not maybe technically the right scale over that thing, but as a way to get outside, it's your first step there. So
that's good.
Don't sleep on the different kind of minor scales that go over the different kind of minor 7 chords.
That's right. And then later on, once you start to get some of these and incorporate or reincorporate them into your playing, they can be used in combination with the chromatic, you know, leaving the tonality kind of going outside and then coming back. It just gives you another option too.
Oh man, let's nerd out again. Let's do like half diminished next time. This is so much fun.
No, I don't like that one. These are good though. These are good.
Cool. Well, until next time.
You'll hear it.